Okay, I figured it would be easier for me to just go over the answers for this in a video. And I just want to reiterate that as far as the test tomorrow, you are going to have a section where you need to fill in this chart, but you're only going to have to fill in the names that go in the boxes, not necessarily the details and examples underneath, like what you're seeing here. So as well, there are some that have to go in certain boxes, and then there are some that can go in any order. So, for example, eukaryote has to go in this box because it's the only domain that has 4 kingdoms underneath it. Then we have archaea and bacteria as the other 2. You could switch those, obviously, in any order. Just make sure you have the correct kingdom with the correct domain. So archaea, the kingdom is Archaebacteria, and then bacteria, the kingdom is Eubacteria. For eukaryote, you do need to have Animalia in this box because it is the one that divides into these different groups here, the invertebrate and vertebrae. However, these 3 could be in any order. They could be Plantae, Fungi, Protista, or really any order. From there, we'll talk about the vertebrae class first. We have the Chordata, which is the name for the vertebrae phyla. Then we had the 5 classes, which could also be in any order: mammals, fish, amphibians, birds, and reptiles. Then over here we have the invertebrate phyla. Now, if one of these boxes was divided into 3 groups underneath that box would need to be arthropods. But if there's no distinguishing characteristic there, then they can really go in any order. So annelids, flatworms, echinoderms, arthropods, nematodes or roundworms. Remember, there's 2 names there. Cnidarians, mollusks, and sponges. I'll do the invertebrate phyla first. Oh, actually, I'll do the vertebrae first. So we also talked about whether or not these classes were warm-blooded or cold-blooded. Remembering that warm-blooded means their body temperature is regular and does not depend on the outside environment, while cold-blooded, their body temperature is determined by the conditions outside. So mammals and birds are the 2 warm-blooded classes, while fish, amphibians, and reptiles are all cold-blooded. Now, hold on. Before I go on to the characteristics here, only the things that I have written in the box are what you need to fill out on the chart portion of the test. So when we get to the chart portion of the test where you have to fill in the boxes and such, you are not going to have to write the characteristics underneath here, nor the warm-blooded, cold-blooded examples for the kingdom. None of that. The only thing you have to have is the names that go in the boxes. However, just as further review, we're going to go ahead and write that on here because you do have to know these characteristics. It will just be asked in different ways. So, for example, the annelids, these are the segmented worms, examples being leeches and earthworms. Then we have the flatworms. In class, we also listed down here that they have long, flat bodies. And then our main examples there were tapeworm, planaria, and liver fluke. The echinoderms, that ein sound is to help you remember spiny skin. They have the spiny skin, such as the sea urchin, starfish, and then sea cucumber as well. Again, if we have one of the boxes in the test that's already subdivided into 3 different groups, we know that has to be the arthropod group. And the 3 groups are crustaceans, like the lobsters and crabs, arachnids, which are the spiders, scorpions, ticks, mites, and then the insects, which are the dragonfly, butterfly, and things like that. Next, we have the roundworms, or the nematodes group. I believe on the test I said to either answer, which is fine. Then we have the cnidarians. 2 examples would be the jellyfish and polyp. The mollusks, which are the soft bodies with a hard shell covering them, usually, except for in the case of the octopus, they don't have a hard shell, but there are 2 types, the land mollusks and water mollusks. Land mollusks including snails, and then water mollusks including octopus and oyster and clams and things like that. There are obviously other land mollusks, but that's our example for that one here. Then for sponges, we didn't talk about any particular examples, but in the class we did list down here that this is the type that filters its food out of the water as it passes through it. So that's the whole chart. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Just remember that on the test, especially for the online kids, you guys will have kind of how we've done it in the past. I'll have a sheet here and I'll have numbers in the boxes, and then on the pod you'll just fill in the answers that goes in the boxes. So don't need to worry about writing any of these characteristics down here, but you do have to know that information. So while today I had you print off the blank copy and try and fill out everything as much as you can from scratch, remember that tomorrow on the test, you will have some of the answers already filled out. So Otherwise, you should be good to go. Just let me know if you have any questions.